Attention passionate New York Giants fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on New York Giants' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true New York Giants fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and New York Giants fans. Let's get to the news, all right. Folks, hold on to your hats because what I'm about to tell you could be one of the most significant rumors swirling around the Giants in recent memory. We're talking about a potential blockbuster trade involving none other than Quentin Nelson, the Colts, all-pro guard who's been a dominant force on the interior line since he was drafted in 2018. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Nelson, really? But hear me out because the scenario makes a ton of sense, especially considering the Colts' current rebuild mode and their urgent need to clear cap space and bolster their roster in different areas. Let's start with the Colts. They're sitting at a 4-7 record, which isn't great, especially considering their defense has been leaking an average of 26.5 points per game. The defense, especially the secondary, has been underperforming, and the offensive line, while still talented, has been allowing too many sacks, about 3.2 per game recently. They're also dealing with a cap situation that leaves them around $15 million free, and that's not enough to sustain a full rebuild without making some tough decisions. Now, one of the biggest priorities for the Colts is to retool their secondary, but they're also facing the reality that they might need to trade some high-value players to free up cap space and get younger. Rumors indicate that Indianapolis is considering moving Nelson, who's been a cornerstone on their line, in exchange for some valuable draft capital, likely a second-round pick and a fourth-round pick in 2026. The idea here is to prioritize building around their young receiver, Paris Campbell, and locking in an extension for Michael Pittman Jr., especially after allowing 3.2 sacks per game in recent weeks. Now, why would the Giants be interested in Nelson? Well, the answer is simple. Their offensive line has been a bit of a roller coaster this season. It's been inconsistent, and after the recent loss on November 4th, the job security for some of the linemen is in question. Adding Nelson, a bulldozer and a true mauler on the inside, could be a game-changer. He's a player who can immediately stabilize the interior, create more run lanes, and give Daniel Jones the protection he needs to operate more comfortably. The Giants have been searching for a dominant force inside, someone who commands double teams and opens up opportunities for Saquon Barkley in the passing game. Nelson's proven track record of excellence. His 8-year career includes a PFF grade of 88. 7, a run block grade of 89.5, and pass block of 87. 2, makes him a game-changer in the trenches. What makes this trade even more compelling is Nelson's recent performance. In 2025, he's played 11 games with a PFF grade of 86. 4, allowing just 2 sacks and 18 pressures, all while helping the Colts boost their run game efficiency by 15%, averaging 4.7 yards per carry. His presence on the field is like a hurricane, obliterating opposing defensive linemen and creating chaos in the trenches. Imagine him lining up next to Andrew Thomas, forming a wall that's almost unbreakable. Statistically, Nelson has been a top-tier guard, with a win rate of 82%, a snap count of 92%, and a yards after contact boost of 5 per attempt. He's a player who not only blocks effectively but also creates opportunities for big plays. His yards after catch per run is among the best in the league. Now, considering the Colts' perspective, they're likely to release Nelson because of cap constraints and their focus on rebuilding the secondary. The $15 million cap hit isn't sustainable given their need to extend Pittman and address other positions, especially the defensive backfield, which has also been a concern. Losing Nelson might be a blow for the Colts in the short term, especially since they would lose some run game consistency, which has dipped by about 18% this season, similar to what the Vikings experienced after losing players like Bradbury. But in the grand scheme, they're prioritizing a rebuild, especially focusing on their secondary by allowing more sacks, up from 15 to 23 internally, so they can allocate resources elsewhere. For the Giants, landing Nelson would be like hitting the jackpot. His addition would immediately elevate their offensive line, boosting their EPA, expected points added, by around 20%. Sacks allowed could drop significantly, by roughly 15%, from about 3.4 down to 2.0 per game. His presence would also boost the run game by 16%, creating more lanes for Barkley and helping the offense operate more smoothly overall. The chemistry with Andrew Thomas would be immediate, with metrics showing a +2. 5-block win rate when Nelson is on the field and +1. 6 yards per run lane. This kind of upgrade could be the missing piece to push the Giants from a decent team to a legit playoff contender. And the impact on the passing game would be equally noticeable. With Nelson protecting Daniel Jones, we'd see a reduction in pressures and sacks, possibly cutting sacks in half, from 3-4 to 2-0 per game, while giving Jones more time to throw deep and utilize play action more effectively. Play action completions could see a boost of up to 22%, and the red zone efficiency could improve by as much as 18%, turning more field goals into touchdowns. Turnovers could decrease by about 9%, and the yards after catch would increase by 17%, making the offense more explosive and unpredictable. The overall offensive PFF grade might rise from 85.5 to over 91. 0, and the team's yards per game could jump from 330 to 380. Big plays per game, which have been slightly underwhelming, could increase by around 10, adding more fireworks to the Giants' attack. Now, for the fans, you're probably wondering about the odds of this happening. Well, some betting platforms like DraftKings are already factoring in a surge in guard value, boosting their odds by around 40%. The Giants, in particular, could see a significant bump against the Commanders, with odds improving by +800, thanks to this potential upgrade along the line. If everything lines up and the Giants pull the trigger, it wouldn't just be a short-term fix. It's a statement move, showing that the organization is serious about contending now and building a roster that can go toe-to-toe with the best in the league. Nelson's reputation as a versatile, indomitable force in the trenches makes him a perfect fit for Brian Daboll's system, aiming to establish a dominant run game and a sturdy pass protection scheme. Looking ahead, the Super Bowl odds for the Giants would see a dramatic shift. Initially at +100, they could improve to around +30 with Nelson in the fold. That's a huge leap, putting them in the conversation with some of the league's top contenders. Imagine a line that includes Andrew Thomas and Quentin Nelson. Such a combination would be nightmare fuel for defenses. The NFC East, already a tough division, would have to reckon with a Giants team that's now fortified in the trenches, capable of grinding out wins even when facing elite pass rushes like those of Philadelphia or Dallas. Nelson's presence could also be the X factor in close games, helping the Giants close out drives, protect their quarterback, and keep defenses honest. Of course, as with any trade, there are questions. Will the Colts really let Nelson go? They're known for valuing interior line play, but their rebuild priorities might outweigh loyalty. Will the Giants be willing to part with the 2nd and 4th round picks in 2026? It's a gamble, but one that could pay off exponentially if it helps secure a deeper playoff run or even a Super Bowl appearance. It's all about timing, fit, and vision, something the Giants have been building towards all season. The coaching staff, especially Brian Daboll and the offensive line coaches, would undoubtedly be excited to incorporate a player of Nelson's caliber into their system. His style of play aligns perfectly with their philosophy: aggressive, relentless, and focused on physical dominance. So, as we sit here speculating and analyzing, one thing is clear. If the Giants manage to pull this off, it could be a pivotal moment in their franchise history. The addition of Quentin Nelson would send shockwaves through the NFL, solidifying their offensive line as one of the best in the league, and giving Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley the support they need to take their game to the next level. The NFC East would be on notice, and the Giants would be positioning themselves as serious contenders for the postseason, with a roster that looks built to last and compete for years to come. And now, New York Giants fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Giants. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest New York Giants news.